Hey guys, thanks for checking in. Over here today at the Rock God Brewery in Danville, Pennsylvania. I am the first person to be their celebrity bartender for the evening. As it turns out though, they did it on a night they were closed. So I don't know if that was a reflection on me or on them. But here I am as your bartender for the evening. And let's go ahead and jump right into what bartenders do, and they talk. So today we're going to do some question and answer in celebration of episode number 200. So some fellas sent in some questions. Let's get to them. All right, question one. Brandy from North Dakota wants to know which Olsen is my favorite. Merlin Olsen, maybe? I don't know. The rest of the chicks look the same. But some serious questions. Jeff from Fargo says, what's the hardest part of being a trainer? That's a tough one. Probably convincing people that they need training. If I had to list it in order, it's probably the job is 10% teaching, 15% as far as creating curriculum, writing it and updating it and keeping it relevant to what's happening. 15% maybe or so logistics, making sure there are targets at the range and target stands and staplers and shit like that. Even the guys that stole my fucking stapler at Sonny's class. But 50% is convincing people to come to the class, getting the word out to you, and then explaining to you why you need the class that we made. And then another 10% for, well, shit I'm not going to tell you about on a video. All right, Chuck from San Diego says, you're super famous on YouTube. What other YouTubers do you subscribe to? Rob Scallon and Leo Moore, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Frog Leap Studios. Two dudes that make guitar videos that are entertaining. As far as gun guys, I don't watch any of that shit. None of it is interesting or entertaining. All right, Jerry from New Jersey asks, what's the most annoying or ignorant thing you've seen someone do in class, either as an instructor or as a student? And it would have to be students crinkling those fucking water bottles while the instructor's talking. Fuck off, Simon. Barbara from Shikshini. I didn't know Shikshini had a Barbara. What are your favorite teaching topics? Topics, absolutely mindset. And as far as methods of instruction, which isn't really a mindset method, would be force on force. Love doing force on force. You all need more force on force. Carol from Des Moines asks us, Gary, what's your favorite book? Absolutely, hands down, Gates of Fire by Stephen Pressfield. It is a fictional account of the hot gates in Thermopylae. But even though it's fictional, it talks more about warrior mindset and brotherhood than every other book on the subject, and you all should read it. All right, Jules from Inglewood asked, what are the top 5 people that I'd like to train under, past or present? So I'm going to omit anybody I've already trained under, so it cuts the list down to the people that I haven't trained under. And I'm going to go with number 1 on my list, the late Paul Gomez. The best we can do is find his stuff out on YouTube and watch it. Clint Smith, fucking Oregon is so far away, and having to buy those lead-free bullets is so expensive. But I got to get out there and take a class with Clint. I wish I could have trained under Jeff Cooper and Tom Givens. I got to get out and get a class from Tom Givens, maybe an instructor class or something like that. And as far as an actual class, I would have liked to have trained under Walt Roush, but he's no longer with us either. And I've shot a bunch with Walt, but I never had a class from him, and I really wish I would have. So to coincide with that question, Bill from Shelbyville asks, are there any police or military trainers that I would want to train under? And the answer is absolutely not. If they were any good, they'd be training civilians. If they are only training military or police, they are training students who are not paying for the class themselves. So in essence, they're only willing to teach people who are forced to be at the class, which tells me that they're not good enough to draw students in and keep them coming back on their own. So current police and military only trainers, none of them I'm interested in getting any training from whatsoever. Frank from Lock Haven wants to know, who's better, Tony Hawk or Christian Hosoi? That's tough. I was a bit of a Tony Magnuson fan myself, but I'm going to have to say Hosoi definitely. Candy, Sarasota Springs, thank you for sending a question in. Are there any specific classes you'd like to take with your son? Or what classes do you recommend for a child and parent or spouses? So I'm going to say any force-on-force / close quarters battle type classes that you would work as a team. So any, like, you know, classes like dynamic home defense like Rockwell Tactical offers is perfect for spouses or parent-child. For taking classes with my son particularly, I would say any classes that focus a lot on mindset, because he's young and that's the most important thing to instill in a young man. Start with a drink. So Roger from San Antonio asks what my favorite part of being an instructor is. Absolutely the rock star lifestyle. Trash in hotel rooms, the throngs of women being recognized in airports. That's really what it's all about. But seriously, the best part about it is seeing students progress further than they thought they could. When you see a student break through the barrier that they've set up in their own mind, nothing beats that feeling. Although the hookers and blower are too. Next question. Gary from Danville asks, what's the deal with yellow and gray? And yellow is a pretty good color. And if I saw one more fucking company in this industry with black and red, I was going to start lighting shit on fire. Like the banners and the patches and maybe the people who own the companies. I was fucking tired of it. Just tired of it. All right, next question. Maynard from Jerome, Arizona asks what my favorite pants are. I'd have to say the free cry pants that Tim gave me. All right, Drew from Baton Rouge asks, as a teacher, what's the most disappointing action a student has ever done? And it hasn't happened just once, it's actually happened a bunch of times, and that is a student showing up after day one of a class, so day 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever, with an empty gun. It breaks my heart. I just want to send them home. They obviously are not getting what we're trying to give them. Carrying an empty gun, I don't get it, and I don't understand why you would come to the class with an empty gun. So Ben, also from Danville, Pennsylvania, asks, what's the band you're most embarrassed to like? And I'm going to have to say, oh, you didn't catch that? That was White Lion. White Lion is my guilty pleasure. It's embarrassing to say it, but I still like those guys. All right, so Zach, all the way over from Barcelona, asks, as a teacher, what's been my most rewarding or proud moment? Most rewarding or proud moment would probably have to be my student Anthony, whose last name I won't mention, from Indianapolis, and the success of his gunfight is probably the most proud moment I've had as an instructor for what a student of mine has accomplished. And Anthony, if you're listening to this, that's where you rate with me. Rob from Clarksville, Tennessee wants to know what I practice on the range. And I'm going to have to say that the bulk of what I practice on the range is shooting on the move. Stationary-wise, that's really the only purpose of that is to work on the two fundamentals so you can make precision shots. And really, you could probably do that at about 50 rounds a month. Like if you put 50 rounds a month into making precision shots while your feet are stationary, you could maintain whatever level you're at. And I do enough demos in class that I don't ever on my own time need to go practice shooting stationary. So I do all my practice shooting on the move, whether that be with pistols, carbines, the limited amount of shotgun I do, shooting on the move, that's what I practice. All right, Joe from New Jersey asks, and let me quote this. Wrong side of the page. Joe says, having seen and done things in class that pussy instructors are afraid of doing, is there anything you won't do in class? That's a good question. Anything I won't do in class? Surprisingly, yes, there's something I won't do in class. I won't teach a military or police only unit. And I say that because when a unit, either a department or a military unit, hires you to do training, that means a third party is paying for it, usually taxpayers, and the students themselves have no skin in the game. Like, they are not vested in their training, and every time that I have done those, I cared more about making the students harder to kill than the students did. They just wanted to know what time they could go home. So this guy is not the guy to come to if you want to get your department trained or your unit. You can go find somebody else to take the money. My integrity doesn't allow me to do so. So that's what I won't do. All right, Charlotte from Charlotte asks me, who is the most attractive girl on the internet? I don't know, Charlotte, what you think I look at on the internet, but the most attractive girl is absolutely Odette Hughes. She has some yoga stuff on Instagram and has like a YouTube channel and stuff. And she's absolutely the most attractive woman on the internets. Now, Charlotte from Charlotte, if you are on the internet, you should send me a link to see what I'm looking at so that I can, maybe you're in the running. I don't know. I don't know you, Charlotte from Charlotte.
Tap number 9.
We're out. Next question. Dawn from Camden asks, what is the #1 class on my agenda to take as a student? I'm going to have to tell you, it's going to be smash mouth pistol with gib tack. I really am just waiting for the class to come out so that I can take it. Last question of the day comes from Jeff from Pennsylvania. He asks, Gary, how do you get a gun through a metal detector? Well, that's one question I'm not going to answer on the internet. However, if you happen to come to this facility, Rock Guy Brewery, on April, May, March 24th, we're having a class here called, it's a seminar called Concealed Carry for Scofflaws. And I would tell you how I've gotten guns through metal detectors. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I can tell you how I did it if you can figure out how to get to that class right here. Jim from Del Rio asks, how do you get into the business of being a firearms trainer? Well, apparently all you have to do is marry a mandrel.
Which one?
The dumb one.